associate, and welcome back to another episode of the Cubicle podcast. I'm your co-host Alana.
I'm your other co-host, Charlie Armstrong.
Every once in a while, we'll sit down with guests and talk about all things work related, from post-grad fears to snatching the ideal promotion to work drama. All things is said in the cubicle.
So today we're going to be talking with Chloe Paquita. Welcome! Such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. To say a little bit about our guest, she is a multi-hyphenate force in the indie film world. She's immersing herself with her time within the creative hubs of entertainment and creative activities in New York City, our city, and then future Brooklyn girl. She also is a graduate of the AMDA, NYC Conservatory, and BFA holder. Chloe Paquita has built a reputation for bringing layered authenticity and emotional precision to both the stage and the screen. She isn't just a talented actress with a deep brunette look and a powerful soprano belt. She is a relentless creator who takes stories from the page to the premiere. Whether she's leading short films like The Wet Season or diving into the high-pressure world of the 48 Film Project as a director, screenwriter, and executive producer, Chloe's drive is unmatched. It's evident to say she is a powerhouse. Beyond her film credits, she brings a fascinating level of discipline to her art as a former D1 level competitive swimmer and a certified scuba diver. She's currently expanding her creative footprint even further, writing and directing a new short film and preparing to drop her first music of all streaming platforms. And with an eccentric, bubbly attitude and a professional resume that spans from high end serving to technical camera operation, she's the definition of a modern, versatile artist. So now, please welcome Chloe Paquita. Yes!
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you on the podcast.
I'm so happy to be here.
We just covered so much just in your intro already. That was a thick intro. It is so much amazing information just built into it. I am just so excited to talk about all your different projects that you worked on in the past and present and what you might even be doing in the future.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'm really excited. Right now, I'm currently working on, so you saw my song that you were at my single release. So that I released that, Your Favorite Toy. I wrote that when I was in LA. I went to AMDA, the conservatory here in New York, and then the College of Performing Arts in LA. And while I was there, I started writing songs and poetry and started getting into more film and TV side as well as acting. So I wrote that. I decided to find producers and get that out there. And then I have another song coming out, which I also sang that at the party. And that we're working right now on getting a music video ready for that. So I want to release the music video the same time as the song. And then when I have the release party for that, we'll have a big venue with a screen so we can loop the video and everything like that. But then I can put that into film festivals as well. You can put a lot of music videos into those. So that's super exciting. I had this right when I wrote that song, I had this exact vision for it. So I'm really excited for that. And I want basically an all woman crew. That was my one thing when I did the 48-hour film festival and wrote, produced, and directed that. The one thing I told myself was okay, maybe I'm gonna make sure I have a woman crew next time. So I'm really excited. Now my crew is really together and it's all women. So I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. So talking about your music background.
Mm.
So I saw you at your premiere.
Mm.
That was super exciting. When are you planning on making your music video and then releasing your music video ideally?
So we're shooting May 2nd to 3rd, the first weekend of May. So I'm hoping it can be out by June. It would be really nice if we could have sort of you know how I did a birthday party and single release, having those two different things that you're celebrating in one. I just feel is more exciting. So having more a beginning of summer slash music video release party, I think would be really fun. And there will be no snowstorms, so it'll be a lot of people will be there. But yeah, so that's when it's gonna probably happen. There, it'll be beginning of summer. It'll be released.
I cannot wait to see it live and see it professionally like that, and to just be able to just see the trajectory of how you're already have had so much of an acting and filming background and directing background to now going into music. What made you want to shift into that direction? What inspired you now release recently within the past couple of years?
Well, honestly, it's been more acting is still my number one thing, and I have definitely gotten more into writing since I was in LA. And LA was an interesting time for me. And I think writing is something that is like extremely therapeutic, and writing poetry, which like is music, is you can convey things that you can't really communicate and like can't really speak about. Like it's hard to communicate certain things that you can in poetry, and like with similes and metaphors and things like that when you start writing these. And then yeah, putting it into music, because your favorite toy starts out with like a jazzy, and then it goes into like poppy and more sassy, and then it ends with like a soul-y like belt. So I wanted it to be like that. It's sort of like three acts, and to me, like that just makes sense because I'm more of a filmmaker, and it's about being used, right? It's about being like cheated on and being mistreated. So I think when you're in that position, you're always going back and forth in your head. You're like in this constant tug of war with yourself. Your friends are telling you one thing, and you want to believe something else, and you're being told other things. Like you're in this constant pool of emotions in your head of being like, no, you know what, like, no, that's, I'm better than this, and then you're like, no, this sucks, and like you're just in these moments of just sadness, but then you're in these moments of like, no, like screw him, I'm better than that. And it's just like this constant pool, and it's really difficult to like be in all these different emotions all the time, and that's what I wanted to convey in that song. But to your question, like I feel like I'm still more of a writer, and I really appreciate all of your compliments, but I don't think I'm the best singer ever. And I just don't. So I sort of want to start telling myself more as a songwriter, and then a like producer and director of music videos. So I can, what I'm sort of looking at with this next music video that I do, I'm going to be able to sell myself more as like, hey, I wrote this song, I produced and I directed this music video. So I can help other artists be like, hey, I can help you write your song, and then I can help produce and direct the music video for you, and also help maybe even have like a release party and like be able to get a lot of people there and be able to get the venue and all of that. So sort of trying to sell myself like as a package in that sense. But yeah, I'm also still, really, really dedicated to my acting stuff and my filmmaking stuff as well. But I'm really excited to direct the music video and to be able to like show my creative vision through like the storytelling of like the writing that I put into this song. And I mean, I might do a music video for Your Favorite Toy as well, like later, and like push that out. But right now I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be really awesome and cool for this video. Yeah.
Is there any artists that like you take inspiration from when you're writing or like directing? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think so for this, like the songs, I think it's just what I mainly listen to, which is like Amy Winehouse and Lana Del Rey, and that's why I feel like I end up distributing music that sort of gives that vibe. And then someone told me once that my Your Favorite Toy sounds like Amy Winehouse singing like bubblegum pop, like that type of vibe. Not that I sound like her, but like if she sang that, and I love that. And also for directing, like women that will direct and act, like write, direct, and act, like Eva Victor and Rachel Sennett. Like I love that they, really do it all and do it all so well too. But at the same time, they're really putting out stories that mean a lot to everyone. Like they have very, very successful stories out there, like Sorry Baby and I Love LA. Oh my god, Rachel Sennett has so many things. But it's a lot of things that people can connect with. And it's something that they really like produced, directed, wrote, and acted in and started. So that's definitely like who I'm inspired by and who I, want to keep, yeah, adding to that.
that's so amazing. Like you do so much. Like just when she was reading it, when you said that like you did professional diving, like that is
Mm.
absolutely crazy. Like when did you start doing that?
Well, I grew up in Florida, and I started competitive swimming when I started on the team when I was 5, competitively when I was 7. And then that I was in like the Junior Olympics by 10. And my coach was the assistant coach of Michael Phelps before he was the head coach of my team. I was on the national team by 13, and I was number 50 in the nation at 15 for my mile swim. So swimming was like my life. Like my garage said eat, sleep, swim on the wall. Like my life was swimming. My dad also swam on my swim team. My sister also swam on my swim team. Like it was super intense. And I also think that that's helping my dedication now to what I really like, because the dedication you have to have in swimming is absolutely intense. So intense. You have to get up at 4 in the morning, and like there's no like skipping practice. Like that is insane. That would never happen, because you would be swimming is like you have, especially because I swim the miles. Like if you have to get in the mileage, like if you miss just one day, you will see that. So I think it's just something like I'm used to putting work in every single day towards something. I think that helped a lot. And then the scuba diving stuff, I mean, it came along with just being in Florida. I was a lifeguard, started like coaching Special Olympics when I was in 8th grade. So I was just always doing something with the water, Special Olympics with swimming. And so then I ended up getting my scuba diving license as well. I didn't really like it that much, to be honest. My ears didn't really like, they didn't really like that pressure that much, but it's still super fun. I like scuba diving a lot because since I'm such a good swimmer, it's like, I like snorkeling a lot because since I'm so good at swimming, I don't really need like the whole pack and everything like that. I can just go under and swim for a while. Yeah. So, but it was an interesting thing to learn and to get licensed and everything like that. But yeah, I'm a swim coach now too for my day job. So that's super fun.
How was it to get your certification as being a scuba diver? Like, what was the process to be able to do that? Because I did see a certified scuba diver, so I was like, is it intense? Because I know you have an extensive swimming background. Like you said, like you eat, swim, sleep, and you go on about your day like that, and for multiple days and multiple years.
It was in Key West. I did it with my family. It was like a bunch of classes for like a week, few weeks beforehand, like in a room, like watching videos and tests and like paper stuff, and then also in the water, just like deep water and just like going under with just getting your. I mean, the hardest part about scuba diving is like the tanks and the oxygen and everything like that. You have to know how to do it on your own, and then at the end you go to the Keys and you go in the ocean and you do that. So it's like sort of a process. It like costs money, but it's like everywhere in Florida. So it was a simple thing to sign up for there. I don't think it'll be as easy to sign up for in New York.
Definitely not.
No, probably definitely not.
In regards to like just in general, like swimming, your singing, anything like that, like any fears that you have, like what helps you like overcome?
That's a good question. I think like burning myself out or like being fearful I'm gonna burn myself out because I think that was also something that happened with swimming too. I mean, life started hitting for sure when I was in high school, and there was just times I was like, I just don't really want to do it anymore, and I don't want to ever feel like that with filmmaking. So I guess like that's my fear. Like I accidentally burned myself out by filling my plate too much, like biting off more than I can chew. That would be bad. And I honestly like embarrassing myself. Like going to something that I love being like the dumbest person in the room. Like I love everyone around me being smarter and me like learning from everyone. That's amazing. I love that. Last night I was at an Oscar party and like everyone there like has wrote a book or has few features out or something like that. Like I definitely was the least qualified there. But that's the places I love to be because that's like how you grow. But I definitely don't want to go somewhere and like embarrass myself in a way of being like, oh, this I'm way too far apart. That's probably like my biggest fear. Yeah. Yeah.
How would you think that you'd be able to manage that regarding like all your projects and then that you're working on now in the future? Do you have like any ideas of like how you can kind of help to manage that, make it more manageable for yourself? What's the strategy behind all of this? And what advice maybe would you give to even the audience that might be struggling with a burnout situation regarding their careers or aspirations as well?
Totally. I think having a schedule and knowing what you have to do that day. And I mean, there's a lot of times when people are like, oh, can we hop on a call? Let's do that. Like, and adding those things to the schedule, like last minute, sometimes I notice that's when I'll get more stressed out that week when I like am going from this to this to this to this and like don't have any breaks. But if I like put my schedule out for the week, know exactly what I'm getting into that week, I can prepare myself. I think that that's the best way for me to not feel like that at the end of the week. And also, I think having like a really good close circle, people that really do support you. So if sometimes it's gonna happen eventually. Like you're gonna just have to vent. You're just gonna have to do something like that. So have those close people that really do support what you do, and you can just call up and vent, and they will be like, no, you know who you are. I know who you are. This is what you're good at. Like just taking one thing at a time and knowing your like the next week as like a set schedule is the best way.
I am so curious. So regarding your swimming background
Mhm.
and that got you into acting and now singing, has that helped you with your singing capabilities and acting?
Okay, yeah. I think it's really helped with dedication. But I mean, I've always been singing ever since I was little. Like all my mom's home videos, I'm singing in the background all the time. And I remember one time too at practice, I always would just like sing when I was on the wall, just whatever. And then I was working at a movie theater, and then one of the guys that was swimming with me, like on my swim team, started working at the movie theater as well. And I was just like singing. He goes, "Oh, you sing here too? You're always singing." And I'm like, "I am always singing." It's just always been sort of who I am. And then I ended up going to South Dakota State and I'm studying exercise science to be a physical therapist. artist. That was like what I was gonna do. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was like, whatever, I guess I'll just do this. But then after a year of that, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but it's not this. And I didn't know I wanted to be an actor. I like didn't really like I liked singing, but I didn't even I mean, my parents aren't in the arts at all, and they don't really support it that much either. So it wasn't even in my head that that was a possible job to have. So then when I dropped out, I went back to Florida and I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I took this gap year. And I mean, it was definitely rough. I was like living with friends and like couch hopping for a bit, but it was definitely rough. But then because it was rough, I was like, let me just do something fun, do something out of body right now. Like I need to have some break of like my brain right now. So I looked up acting classes online. I remember I did Little Red Riding Hood in high school because I broke my knee really bad. So I had to take a break from swimming for a little bit. And I did theater to have something to do because I liked singing. And the singing was the only reason I did that theater because it was a musical, right? So then, but I remember I was like, oh, well, acting was fun. Let me just look up acting classes online and I'll just do that. It'll be fun. And then when I did that, I noticed that she had a house and a kid and she was an actor in Chicago and that was her job. And she was able to like support her child and pay her bills. And I was like, wait, I didn't know that was a thing. Like I didn't know you could do that. And then she's like, yeah, no, like you can be an actor and like that can be your job. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's what I want to do then. Like I want to know what I'm talking about though. I want to make sure I'm not just jumping into this. I know that actors have been acting since they were 2. Like I know that people are really serious about this. And I want to be able to compete. So I want to only go to school in New York or LA because I know that that's the hubs. And then she's like, it sounds like what you're describing is a conservatory. I didn't even know what that was. And then she explained it to me. She explained what to look for all the schools. So making sure there's a business class, making sure there's successful alumni, making sure that there's teachers that aren't ancient and it's a different time now, especially with self-tapes and everything like that. So making sure that the teachers are working right now as actors, all of that. I did all my research, and then AMDA was the one that I had the best connection with. I remember literally crying at the audition when I was like watching the video. I was like, I really want to go here. And then the audition just went so well. And then I got in with the best scholarship ever. And then, yeah, I mean, it was a whole journey, like paying for it and everything like that. But it was amazing. And I got to live in New York because of it. Like I got to like have access to the dorms and be living in Greenwich Village, which is gorgeous. And I got to like have that experience because of AMDA. And then I was in class from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, like 6 days a week, because it was like a boot camp for acting. I feel like the conservatory here. But it was lovely. Like I was just eating it up, like everything, like stage combat class and acting technique classes and accent classes and figuring out where your voice is. And then I had voice lesson classes, and I had access to musical theater teachers because I felt like my voice was more musical theater. And then I also could focus on acting on camera because that was my focus in the conservatory. And then that bled into the College of Performing Arts in AMDA, LA. And then, so I was able to do the film and TV degree there and really, really like learn more about shooting things. I was the camera assistant and I was able to really learn all of that stuff, which then that got me more into writing and all of that. And I was just like, yeah, this is like my life. This is my world. I've never fallen in love with something like so much. Didn't like LA, but I enjoyed the training that I was getting. So right when I finished that, I moved right back to New York, but kept all the knowledge of the training, and that's sort of the trajectory of how I ended up where I am right now.
That is a journey, like South Dakota, then back to Florida, then like talking to someone from Chicago, then coming to New York. That is I'm amazed. I really am amazed. And what were like the classes that really just taught you and really made you want to get into acting and being a screenwriter, executive director, all these different positions that you have now?
There's this one class that I'm thinking of, and I think that also the teachers that are teaching it has a lot of impact on how I felt about the class. So this one teacher I had, she was currently on Broadway as well as a teacher. Oh my goodness, she was absolutely fantastic. And it was a class about so like we specifically studied. First, we studied period pieces, like acting in a period piece. And then we studied acting in sitcoms because it's a completely different type of acting. And then acting in like scenes that would be shot in one shots. And so it's just like a completely different acting, the way that you approach the camera, and learning like all of those specific things was so interesting to me, especially learning it from someone that I like really looked up to and respected, that was like just such a good experience. And I felt so important, and I felt like I was learning so much. I was learning so much, and I just wanted to be a sponge. Like I just wanted so bad to like just do. And then honestly as well, like at the end of your 4 semesters, the showcase classes, like when you're just getting ready for showcase, and I mean, just I love performing so much. So like actually doing everything that you learned on stage and shooting, we would also shoot a scene on film, and then that would go up on screen. But doing it for real, like that is what I loved so much. And then that is also what I was like, yep, no, like this, I'm so dedicated to making this my life and this being in my life every single day. So those were really cool. Stage combat obviously was so cool, amazing. It's just that was so interesting to learn. And then we all sit down and watch it. And we're like, oh my god, that looks so real. That was so fun and amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you moved all the way from Florida. Like, if you could tell your past self something like about moving to New York, or like just any experience that you would want yourself or anyone else like moving so far from home, like what would you tell?
Yeah, I would say to follow, and I think that that's what I did, but I think that that's why I maybe like took longer, because I was listening to my parents and listening to other people. And I think that it is a really scary thing, especially for parents, like to hear that their child wants to be an actor in New York. My parents, they like hate New York. Like they're very like Florida gated community people. So this is completely, but I'm a chaotic person, so I fit into New York very well. Like we match so well. I'm like deeply in love with New York City. But yeah, I think I would just tell myself to just follow my gut. Don't listen to your parents or other people. Like just follow your gut. Like you have something, and that's what you need to do. I always feel like if you, yeah. I always say you should probably follow your heart over your mind, because your mind is going to be second guessing what your heart really wants. And your heart's like your gut, I feel like, as well. So I always say just follow your heart.
So I want to talk about your projects because
Mhm.
and like what you've been working on because you have a lot going on that we have to debuckle like during
Mhm.
this entire podcast. So tell us what you're working on right now so our audience knows as well regarding films, things that you're writing. You could even brush back again on your music content as you are now creating your own music, and then in the future how you want to get into actually like helping people songwrite and produce music videos and all that stuff. So tell us about what's happening in your life.
So I'm mostly excited for Surgery of the Soul, which is this film that I'm writing about lobotomy. It's a historical fiction. Surgery of the Soul was actually a title of an article for New York Times in 1946. That's why it's the name of the film, and then it's also mentioned in the dialogue inside of the film. And Dr. Walter Freeman was the guy that founded lobotomies and did the most of them throughout the time that lobotomies were being done. And 1946 was also the year that he changed the way that he did lobotomies from surgical procedure to an ice pick procedure, and literally grabbing an ice pick and just picking it behind their eyes. And I think that lobotomies are so interesting. My parents were so strict, so when I was young, when I've always had this like thought in my head, if I was born in the 30s to 50s, I would have had a lobotomy. But that's like the original way I started thinking of this film. And then I started doing research about it. And I was like, this is insane, because 60 to 75% of lobotomies were disproportionately done to women. And all of the media out about lobotomies are about men. Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, great film. It's literally all about men. It's all men in that film. And I just think it's pretty insane, because that wasn't really their issue. Like the men were actually forcing their daughters and their wives to get lobotomies all the time. So I just think it's so interesting. And I was like, okay, I have to have some media out there now about a woman going through that. And so I want to star in it, and I want to direct it. I already wrote, produced, and directed a film for the 48-hour film festival, and that went really well. And like I said, the one thing I sort of took away from that was just I really want a woman DP. It was the 48, so it was very quick, but there was definitely a lot of, I think, just miscommunication of what I sort of saw, what I wanted, and then the shot was like, oh, that wasn't what I was really thinking, but we don't have time, so let's just shoot it. And I just think, yeah, that was the one thing I took away. I really want like a mainly woman crew. And so that I also want to work with them before I work on Surgery of the Soul. So I'm grabbing like the same crew. I'm getting together my crew for Surgery of the Soul, but we're doing Bleed. So like my DP will also shoot Surgery of the Soul and Bleed, and that whole crew will be the same. I want to have experience working with them since I'm directing it and starring in it. Like I need them to look at my face and be able to read my mind. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that's sort of the goal with that, and sort of how I am like planning to work on these next two things. And like I said, we're shooting that May 2nd to 3rd for Bleed, and then I'm gonna like look into getting grants and angel investors for Surgery of the Soul so I can raise the budget that I want. And then yeah, and then we're gonna shoot it because I want to shoot it by fall because there's this tree in it, so I don't want the tree to be like dead. I want it to be like pretty, so I'm hoping fall.
Oh, that's crazy. Like I've done my research on lobotomies. I like just go on crazy deep dives on TikTok. And like just the fact that like half of the women population would be like considered like able to get a lobotomy. I love the fact that you're choosing to have a woman and yourself to be playing that role. And I think that's like, amazing.
Be that representation.
Yeah.
And I think that's so
Yes.
important. Like it is like I remember watching that movie too
Mhm.
and just seeing how it was very male centric in that
Yeah.
movie. And I did not like that. And I feel
Mhm.
like it's just a really poor representation of what went on historically and even what is still even seen today.
Mhm.
So I think that's great that you're highlighting it through the fact that women go through this too, and this is for women representation.
Mhm.
And I think that's so important that you're addressing that within your film as well.
Mhm.
To be that voice
Mhm.
and be the emblem of what really did happen.
Right.
Of like, and through another side. And that side is a big side
Right.
and big piece that you're missing to that puzzle to
Right.
really fully understand the circumstances of that era. So I think it's great that you're bringing that up. How long do you think the process will be to film and create it? Like what goes into like the filming and the production and making the film the way that it is through your take on it?
I think we'll shoot for 3 days. It's not many. It's 2 locations. Three, I guess. I met this. I'm so sometimes I just feel like I'm so lucky. I met this girl two girls the other night, and they're like, "Oh, we work at a zoo," and then they're like, "We like basically do when you watch a film and it says no animals were harmed in this production." They're like, "That's like what we do," and I'm like, "That's insane," because I'm literally looking for that right now. Like, what's your experience with birds? Because the bird motif, because birds represent freedom, and I want them to be bluebirds because blue represents freedom. And I mean, it's just going through all of those like little tiny things because once you're on set that day, like you got to shoot it. Like everything needs to be so thought out. But I'm giving myself time to think it out. And I wrote this like not having any like deadline at all. Like just I want to make sure that it's perfect, which I know that that's not going to happen. Nothing's perfect. But I want to give myself as much time as possible for this. There's no deadline. I just want it to be as best as it can possibly be. And so that's sort of like the idea of the process. Now, I guess I'm like looking at fall now, but that's still a long time away. And just finding the right people. And I also think finding the right people to be on your team has to do with not who is really good a worker, but who you connect with and who you like really do get along with. I think that, being on set can be really stressful, especially if it's your story and you're acting in it. It can be really stressful. And to have the right team around you, oh my goodness, like day and night. You know what I mean? So I think just finding people that you really actually do connect with and actually really want to have a relationship with, as well as a working relationship with, is super important. So that's what I'm like slowly doing. That's why I also want to work on Bleed with everyone before we work on Surgery of the Soul. I would really like it for like nobody new to be on Surgery of the Soul. Like I want to work with every single person there beforehand. So we have that experience already. They know how I work. They know how, the flow of the set's going to go and everything like that. So I feel like that'll take away the stress that there might be, any stress that like there could possibly be. I want to just like nip that before, like if I can. So that's sort of like my vibe.
That's exactly what needs, like, I think how the production I would imagine would have to go. And then like the process of getting people and making those connections. How has it been making connections that you need for different films or different projects that you're working on? Do you go to a lot of networking events? Do you go out a lot to meet people?
I love networking events. When I got back to New York after, so I went to AMDA, so I have those connections already. And then coming back to New York, I just started just going to networking events like nonstop. Friend from LA. I think the best place to meet people is on set. That's the best place to meet people. So I produced a film recently. Love meeting those people. Any set that I'm on acting, like just through backstage and just like simple background stuff and all of that. I think it's the best because you're also meeting people that are literally working right now. They're getting roles, they're in work. So that I think is the best place to meet people. But yeah, I'm at networking events all the time. I love networking events. And what else? How else do I mean? I mean, I think it's just being someone that like is super energetic and talkative. I know a lot of people that are like, hey, you would really like love my friend. You guys would really get along. And just talking about my work all the time too. Like that is super helpful. I'm talking about my work just all the time to random people and they're like, I know someone like that. And then that's how I was able to just create. And also I think it's better to make those relationships first and then be like, hey, we can work on this together now. So just like genuinely meeting people and being genuine when you meet them, not just talking about work, mentioning it, but like if I'm talking about my scripts, the lobotomies, like I'm talking about like why I'm passionate about it more than just like, and I need this person and this person and this person and this person, like logistics. I'm talking about more like the genuine aspect of why I love what I do more.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's so important. Like, just keep going to networking events and meeting people on set, but then building those relationships first
Mhm.
instead of being like, right, like at the start, we need to work on this project together.
Right,
Like,
right.
there's a strategy to it. And I think it's important, like, in the beginning to be a normal human being,
Mhm.
finesse a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
there's a little bit of strategy there,
Right,
winky face, but
right.
and then you move on later on with, okay, how can we actually create maybe work and art together, and how we can then be involved in like big things
Yeah.
that could get you to an Oscar party and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
I want to hear more about that. So you just went to like an Oscar party recently? How was
Yeah,
that?
last night it was so fun. It was actually like such a great time. It was great. Like they had food too, which I was so excited about because I was so hungry, and I remember just being like, "Oh, I can't wait to eat a burger." Um, no, it was great. It was so fun. Like it was on all the TVs. It was like a venue, it was a bar, so like they had the whole bar, and then it was just on all the TVs. And I knew a bunch of people prior. I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you're just like nice and genuine and energetic and have a good energy to you, you will be invited to more things. Like the reason I was invited back to this was because I was originally invited. I met someone at a networking event. He invited me to the Sundance party. There, I met a bunch of people and I really talked to the host and then made sure I like had lunch with the host later. So then I was like locked in for the Oscar party. So then I was invited to the Oscar party. And then I was able to invite my friends and my close circle as well. And then I saw a bunch of people that I met at the Sundance party, and then I was able to build those conversations. I was talking to one of my friends this morning about it, and I was like, I didn't talk to anyone new last night. And I was like, but at the same time, I think it was pretty good that I was talking to the same circle I was talking to at the Sundance party, because I'm building those relationships, I'm building those connections.
Right.
Those people have read my script and given me feedback on it, and they've been the best mentors that have done that because they've got like multiple books out and features and everything like that. And I think that it is important to just sort of, instead of just spreading yourself thin and trying to talk to everybody, to just build certain relationships that, I mean, certain people that you're connecting with. I think that that is always just something that's so important. Like, you don't connect with everyone, and I think that there's a reason you connect with the people that you do, and you should try to build those. Like there's a reason you run into people again and you cross paths again. So yeah, it was so fun. We just watched the Oscars and we're just eating and drinking, just having a good time, and yeah, it was a great time. I liked it.
That's amazing. Did you meet
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
anyone like maybe that was famous that was like at this party by any chance, or was it just like everyone that was just like still like a very like important industry experienced person in the field?
Yeah.
Like, did you meet anybody like even like cool last night that you were like, wow, like they have amazing like lore and like a crazy background, like even though it was mostly like the people that you already were friends with?
Right. I mean, a lot of them like mm, I mean, a lot of them just like went to NYU, but a lot of them like know famous people. Like we were having a conversation last night, and one of them was like, "Oh, I told Katy Perry that she looked like Zoe Deschanel when I met her," and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." And I was like, "What'd she say?" And he was like, "She just frowned and walked away." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But like stuff like that, but not like Katy Perry wasn't there, but like people that like know people and have met people like that were there.
Interesting. I would love to meet Katy Perry in that regard. I feel like that would be like, even though like she's like being canceled right now, it's just kind of funny because I think she's dating like Justin Trudeau, I think the
Yeah.
Prime Minister of Canada, which I'm like, you know what? Period. Like,
It is.
who would ever thought? But I loved her music when I was a kid. Like, I grew up listening and
Mhm.
watching all the music videos, which I probably shouldn't have, but as you do.
Yeah, as you
And
do.
it's just an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And if you can meet one person in the industry, whether it's acting, film, production, anything, who would you want to meet and why?
Trey Edward Schultz. Because okay, but then at the same time, okay, so Waves is my favorite movie, like so much. So much. I watch it every single month. I literally have the movie memorized. I'm gonna get a tattoo of one of the covers on my back. Like I love Waves. I love Waves so much. And Trey Edward Schultz wrote, produced, and directed that. So I think I'm really inspired by people that like do like a lot within one film, and it's really like you can just tell this is their vision. Oh my gosh, Waves is so good. It goes over so many topics, and it's just so interesting. And then also, so women, I feel like I'm gonna say this stat wrong, but women, the way, see, I already started wrong, but the way that like the highest rate of, or the highest way that women die when they're pregnant is by homicide, usually by their partner. And it's not like, it's so like, you're like, wait, what? I like, that's such a crazy statistic, but it's at like, it's true. And it's so crazy. And I just think Waves does a good job just showing how that happens. And it's just like it just, and Waves also, I think like the title's so good because it's like life just hits you in waves, and it's just like hard. But that's why I would want to meet Trey Edward Schultz. I've written him an entire email, and I was like, if I could describe a filmmaker in 3 words, it would be Trey Edward Schultz. Oh my goodness, I like. The only thing is, I know some people that worked on set with him, and they said that he was mean. So now I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But Eva Victor maybe too. She's really cool. So yeah, one of those two. It would be, yeah, yeah.
I love that. No, that's amazing.
I want to get more into your other projects now. So what are the other like films and other productions that, or what you're currently writing and screenwriting right now? Are you working on anything else?
Yeah, so I was thinking after this, I mean, Surgery of the Soul is gonna take like a year. We'll probably like, I would love for it to be done by the end of the year. That's like a goal, and then we're gonna be shopping that around in festivals for like another year probably. So those are like my next 2 years is like Surgery of the Soul, but a really big plan that I have. I don't know if I want to give it away. I don't know if I want to like
Ew.
say
You can spoil it for us.
the
You can spoil it for
idea.
us.
We
Or
can-
not
we
even-
can- yeah, we can bleep it out.
Little
Yeah.
snippets. You can snip it. Look, you can give us a little like hint. You know?
Okay. Well, so my first film that I did, the 48-hour film festival, is called Trauma Salad, and it's about a mental health retreat. And so I want to do. I would love to be like how Rachel Sennett did I Love LA, and like she's the showrunner of it. Love to be like a showrunner. Also like Quentin Brinson, like she created Abbott, and then is like the star actor. That's something that I really want to do, like creating a story around mental health, and then being one of the like leads. And yeah, so I have some ideas. I have an idea, and I think it's gonna be fantastic. But I need to like prove that I can do that. So, yeah, I need to. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get Surgery of the Soul, write a feature for it, and then sell. I think it would be best if I like sold a feature for that. But I mean, the best thing I can do is just continue to meet people at film festivals and get advice from people that are further than me in the industry, and figuring out how I can get to the point that I want as being like a showrunner and a lead in a series.
And I'm seeing now, have you been like interning for any like positions recently, or have you been working on, or even tell us about the 48-hour film project Trauma Salad? Tell us about those experiences. I'm so curious as to hear more about those and the background of them.
Yeah, it was when I was in LA. In LA, I mean, it's like a lot easier to get work in LA just because there's so it's larger than New York. You know, there's just more space and things that are just going on. So I was doing a lot of film, like Wet Season. That one was amazing. So I'll talk about Wet Season for a second because that was just like a very, very beautiful experience because I grew up swimming. I was at a networking event and I met this producer and I was like, "What are you currently working on right now?" And she's like, "We're working on this film about swimming, and we just lost our lead actor, and like they have to be a good swimmer." And I was like, "Stop looking right now, look at my resume. My number one special skill is D1 swimming." So I was like, immediately like the day after she sent in the sides, I sent the self-tape in. I was in table reads like the day after that. And then yeah, I got the lead. They flew me out to Austin, Texas. We swam at UT, which world records were broken at that in that pool. And the director was Erica Sullivan. She got silver medal at the 2021 Olympics under Katie Ledecky, and she just graduated from UT and she studied film. and she wanted to make this film about swimming and sort of about the culture of swimming on a swim team because there isn't really that many films about that. So that's what she wanted to do. And oh my goodness, it was such an awesome experience. We shot for 3 days. Yeah, 3 days, and it was so fun. And then the other lead also swam in college, and we were both flown out from LA. So that was such a good experience, and I feel like it cured a lot of bad mojo I had with swimming just because I quit D1 swimming, and then this was my next experience with swimming. So it was sort of like cured a lot of like stuff in my heart about swimming. And then yeah, it was just so fun. That and then Illuminated was another short film that I did. That one was I played a like really young mom that was really depressed, and then it got into this more like supernatural stuff at the end. But that was also just like really healing. Like I really like doing really difficult pieces and like crying and giving. Um, I mean, like I've definitely gone through some stuff before, so I feel like being able to bring that back into film and connecting with it again is almost like giving that person that I was like space and time and energy that like at that time I didn't think I deserved, but like now I know that that girl like deserved so much more than I was giving her. So I feel like giving her those moments now through my acting and through stories that I can tell is healing and like really special. And like that breakup that I went through was so hard, and writing those songs were really healing. And also like not even just writing them, but like really like releasing it and then getting the love back from it is like just like enormously healing. And I like I'm shocked of like how good I feel now. I never would have thought I would have like ever felt this good again after going through what I went through. But I think a lot that contributed to it was the work that like my writing and the work that I put towards healing and the consistent, getting roles and putting that time and space like for that girl that I was. So yeah, and those are the films that I did in LA, and did a lot of black box theater as well, like horror black box theater, which was really fun and exciting. And like scary. There was like a lot of like different things I had to do. It was definitely like very like out of the box, like definitely not stuff like I learned in training technically. Like it was very, very, we also came up with the stories as well as acted in it. I was like just definitely a lot of like good experiences there in LA. And then the 48, I was like, yeah, let's just do it. Someone told me about that on set because I was just explaining that I also like filmmaking and things like that. And she was like, you should do the 48. And I just signed up like 2 weeks before, got a whole crew together of other people that I worked on set with. And they were also my friends, which that is why I like really like recommend that, like really make these genuine connections. Don't just talk about work, go out for drinks after, like hang out with these people, call them up and ask them to help you with self tapes, help them with self tapes, like really make them in your circle and invite them to plays, invite them to shows that you're invited to, like really like put them into your circle and like make genuine connections with them. And that's why I was able to get this whole crew together so quickly for the 48. And then yeah, it was a really good experience. Like it was really fun. um I suggest to do the 48 to everyone because you get a whole film under your belt on IMDb in a weekend. Like I just think it's the best thing to do. And the only way you're going to get better at doing films like directing and is to literally do it. Like no matter how many videos you're going to watch about directing, like the only way you're actually going to get better is by physically directing a film. And that costs a lot of money. It's hard to like direct films all the time. But if you do the 48-hour, the 72-hour, I think those challenges are just the best because you can get these films under your belt, get that experience, get it on your IMDb, get it on your resume, and you didn't even waste that much time or money or energy. Everyone has to be a volunteer in it. So it's like I just think it's the best thing ever. I recommend it all the time. I want to do it again this year.
You should. You should find a way. They'll find a way to do it. And
Yeah.
how do you think you'd be able to have access to do it, like within the city, like through your connections? I'm assuming, or do you know anyone that's like in the process of looking for people to do a 48 to 72-hour film? Or
Yeah, I've already emailed them and like asking when it is. It's gonna be in the summer. Me and Thomas, Thomas, we're gonna like write together. That's like our idea. And then I'll probably direct or act. It depends what we write. And then I know a bunch of actors from school. So just getting those people like on board before, but it's 48, like you get the prompts that on Friday, and then you have to have it done editing on Sunday. So you don't know what you're getting into, but yeah, having that crew, but it's in summer. So like I'm already meeting so many people on crew. Um it's just people that want to get something else on their resume or want to work with you again or want to try something else out. Like they're more of a camera department or they're more of like a G&E department trying to get more in camera. Like, okay, come on and you can be the DP for this. Like just stuff like that. Giving people opportunities that they normally wouldn't be able to get on a bigger set. I think is like a good way to get people on things like that.
I totally agree. And to watch your films and to watch your projects, where could you best watch them? Where would you be able to like find? Because I would love to see your films, and I'm sure Alana would too. And yeah, so how can even our guests on the podcast watch your content, watch your projects and everything?
Everything's on my website. So it's just chloepankita.com. And
Period.
yeah.
ChloePankita.com, guys, take notes.
Yeah. And my last name is PAN-KITA.
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah.
right, right.
It's a weird, like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't like I don't even know really why, but it's Polish.
Oh, okay, period, period.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just Polish.
She's a Polish, she's a Slavic doll. We love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the website has everything. First thing you'll see is like my acting reel, and then that all goes down. There's pictures on there, and then in my media tab you can see Trauma Salad. That's on YouTube. Everything's like sort of on my YouTube as well. And some other films that I've acted in, I've like uploaded those as well. My bio, pictures, and videos of me singing, performing, stuff like that. Like everything that I have and do, I like try to put it all on my website. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I think you should because all your like it's your portfolio and all your projects are your work. So if you can show that off, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it keeps it as like a little timeline. So like in the past, you can look forward and be like, oh my gosh, like I really did that. Like, but also just like it shows like your improvement over time,
Right.
even if you don't think you're improving.
Yeah. Agreed. It's fun.
It is.
What's like one strength that you have now regarding like the acting and film career and field? And like what's like one something like the SWOT analysis that like you learn like in like classes, like strength and weaknesses and opportunity and threats. So what's like one thing that you see as an opportunity or maybe as like one thing you kind of want to improve on more in the future as being an acting and songwriting and filmmaking like
Oh my goodness, there's this word I want to use. Like sort of like passionate, but like it starts with an E. I don't know. Like I think my passion and my ambition, that's like sort of what I want to use. My ambition of all these ideas, because like I don't have to have any of these ideas or do any of this. Like no one's making me be a filmmaker and actor. My parents don't want me to do it actually. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't have to happen at all. Especially like post grad, it's like you don't have like there's nothing around you making you do this scene or anything like that. Like it's not a thing that is in your day to day unless you literally decide to write it and make it. So I think that, having all the ambition that I do around all of the topics and um, continuing to really push it. And then, I mean, I think also networking is a really big strength that I have. I've had people literally at networking events be like, I'm just going to follow you around and I'm just going to learn how to network but by following you around. And I'm like, you should. Like, because I'm really good at this and I know I'm really good at it. But it's like, I think it's just really good at being able to like intertwine that, just regular speaking about your day and talking, but then also intertwining that work stuff at the same time. So that would be my strength. And my weakness, I think, honestly, like I feel like my ambition can be a weakness as well. Sometimes being like too ambitious about things, being too energetic about them. Sometimes I like push myself a little too hard. Like I go out every single night to some networking event or a show or something, and I'll just get like so tired, and then I'll like take multiple days off because I didn't give myself like a small break. And that goes back into, what my fear I said earlier about like accidentally burning myself out. I think that is the one thing that I need to be wary of. But like I said too, like I think it's important to just have like that circle and being like, hey, wait, that's a lot. Like this is a lot. Like your schedule this week, that's a lot. Maybe next week have a chiller week. Like just being able to check in with people and doing that is going to be like the best way to sort of like go about that weakness. um but I mean, I also think like making sure that you always know like there's always going to be someone smarter and someone better. Like nothing's going to be perfect. It's film. It's literally like it's going to be three different stories when you write it, when you shoot it, when you edit it. Like there isn't going to be this like one perfect thing that's going to happen, but that's the beautiful part about it. And I always love how in film there's so many different types of people that like really would never be in the same room together, like the makeup person and then the G&E guys and then the director and the actors. Like we're all just so different people that like really wouldn't be in the same room, but like because of film we all are, and we're all working together, and it feels like sort of like a dance. Like when everyone's just like dancing, they have to like really like do the dance exactly like how they learned it to the best of their ability, and then it comes together and it looks beautiful. Like I love that when everyone's like working together and it comes together. It's just so exciting and fun. Yeah.
No, I think the collaboration and the teamwork dynamic of what it is such a beautiful thing. I really
Yeah.
do. And I feel like I would love, we kind of talked about it before, but I would love to know what advice could you give to not only maybe even your younger self, the youth that wants to get into songwriting, filmmaking, acting and beyond, if or who even wants to be a swimmer,
Mhm.
kind of, or even get into sports nutrition, sports medicine, kind of
Mhm.
like where you were heading into when you went to University of South Dakota.
I think just taking one day at a time. And I think that also goes with days that are hard. Like when you were talking about that just now, I like also think I think the girl that like needed the most advice was honestly like when I was like going through like the rough patch, and like if I was giving her advice, it's like just taking one day at a time and keeping up like that hope. And like I think just really like knowing who you are and like really like being able to sit with yourself and knowing, I have no idea how I'm going to accomplish this huge thing, but just knowing that I can do it and it's just going to be one day at a time. And that really is how film works. Like it's, you see this and you're like, how am I going to be able to do that? And it's just one day at a time, getting the right person, like meeting those right people. It's like just a process, and you just got to keep working at it, and you're gonna fail. Like that's gonna happen, but the only way, this is a quote I love, the only way to success is failure. And I feel like that really connects with me a lot because it really is like you have to fail if you're going to succeed. There's every single person that's successful has failed so many times, and you just have to get comfortable with failing and just knowing that you're going to work, you're going to just do something else small a little bit the next day towards your goal, and the next day a little bit more, and eventually that's going to be the thing that a few years ago you were like, how could I ever do that? You know?
I think that's amazing advice. I really do. I think that really like that clicks and connects with me. I have to say, like, I do really think that would like resonate and is relatable. Like your story is relatable, but it's so fulfilling with how you are doing what you're passionate about and what fulfills you today, and then aspirationally all the things that you're working on now in the but not even aspirationally, but also just what you're going to be working on in the future
Mm.
and beyond. And I think everything you just said is just so spot on. And I want to thank you so much for being here on the podcast episode today. You absolutely nailed it. And we hope you guys did too, learning about Chloe Pankita, our queen. She is a talent and she is a force to be reckoned with within the industry. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Cubicle podcast here, as I'm Charlie Armstrong and this is Alana Nuoko. And it is such a pleasure. Thank you so much again, Chloe. We hope you
Thank
guys
you.
enjoy. And to watch all of her work and to learn more about her, I suggest looking her up at www.chloepan-kita.com, which is pan-kita.com. And you can learn more about her information regarding her and her projects and stay along with her future endeavors. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Cubicle Podcast. We're all said. Bye. Bye, guys.